I am super honored to have you on. First of all, the ROI of creativity. The World Economic Forum has voted the skill of creativity in 2020 as one of the top money-making skills in a business. And I'm super excited for you to teach us about innovation. And thank you so much for taking the time. I can't hear anything, so you're going to have to just take it away.
I actually represent a team from Fireproof, which you know well. Michael Morris and John Knockhazel are our founders, and they wrote the book and had the pleasure of really working with law firms, our clients, to help them not only drive results, driving profitability, driving predictability, alignment, accountability, all of those wonderful things, but also innovation. So innovation has been the space that I've worked in for the last probably 15 years. Together with the data components, the marketing components, we really help our clients to think of and act in fresh ways so that they can drive the type of growth that they need. So I'll launch a question for the team here. The question is Google, lots of Googles, great. So they also own Waze, right? It's kind of an easy answer. Huge international player. Who was the top map company 20 years ago? So it's a little harder question. We've got Rand McNally, we've got Yahoo, MapQuest, etc. Well, those of you who said Rand McNally, you are correct. So Rand McNally was not just the top 20 years ago. More impressive to me even, they were the top map maker 120 years ago. But somewhere in the last 20 years, they forgot to do something critically important, right? They forgot to innovate. The company was founded in 1856. At their height, they had over 5,000 global employees. They had some of the top cartographers in the world and a number of impressive innovations under their belt, including inventing the atlas. But these guys fell into a trap that hits too many companies and too many careers. The trap is that they became intoxicated with their own success. They felt they could do no wrong, right? So they kept doing the same things and expecting the same results. So they failed to challenge the status quo. They failed to innovate. They failed to adapt. And then they simply failed. So the lesson to us here is clear. We have to remain a source of disruption rather than having that disruption thrust upon us. Folks are entering every market every day, right? We've got competition coming at us from all angles. We have to practice innovation on a daily basis through all of the functions in our firms. That's the key to our future. That's how we will continue to win. And this is even more important today because so many of the things that we have taken for granted have been flipped upside down. It is absolutely astounding, right? The technology that comes to play, the transformations, they have never happened at a faster pace. And we can no longer rely on those models of the past and expect the same results, not in our firms, not in the business world, not even in our homes. And we cannot fall victim to this unprecedented change. Rather, we need to adapt and we need to take advantage of it. So to do so, I would argue to you that we have to leverage the hottest technology of all, but it's not machine learning. It's not augmented reality. It's not AI. It's human creativity. That becomes the one thing that cannot be outsourced. It cannot be automated. It becomes the one thing that is our source of sustainable competitive advantage. So here's my suggestion to you. I know you play many roles in the firms that you represent, but no matter what's on your business card, I would argue you need to embrace a secondary role, that of disruptor, that of business artist, of entrepreneur, because those are the skills and mindsets that will help us win in these highly competitive, highly changing times. I've compiled so much research on this passion topic of mine, of innovation, that I've actually compiled a list of 5 core mindsets. And these are the 5 core mindsets that make the top innovators on the planet tick. How they lead their teams, how they lead their meetings, how they believe that they can change the world. The first of these is the mindset that I wanted to share with you today. And it's the mindset that every barrier can be penetrated. It's the inherent belief that no matter what the obstacle is, there's always a way. If you throw enough creativity at even the most difficult challenges, they will melt away. And I'll tell you, this is exciting. The most creative people on the planet, those that are thought of as the brightest innovators, they're really no more creative than any of us. But when they have a setback or a challenge, what they don't do is throw up their arms, right? or get discouraged. They say not yet. They throw more creativity at it, more ideas, more energy, more passion. And before long, that barrier is broken. The next example I want to share with you actually happened in Troy, Michigan, not far from our headquarters. The same thing happened, right? The leaders were faced with a crisis. This time, the crisis was that the budget had gotten so bad with the library in Troy that they were about to shut the library down for good. Now, the leaders of the library got together. Instead of dusting off their resumes, which would have been appropriate, they said, we've got to fight back. There's got to be a way to find a solution. Let's take a look at what they did.
There once was a library, a beautiful, busy, award-winning library. Unfortunately, times were hard. The city of Troy, Michigan no longer had enough money for its library, so it scheduled a vote asking the townspeople to approve a small tax increase. This angered an anti-tax group known as the Tea Party. Well organized and well funded, they started posting vote no signs, mailing flyers, and making noise. They dominated the conversation, changing the topic from library, books, and reading to taxes, taxes, taxes. With no money and an election less than a month away, the library needed help. They needed something attention-getting, audacious, maybe even vile. So we decided to form a group of our own and started planting signs around town that said, vote to close the library August 2nd, book burning party August 5th. The idea of book burning is bad enough, but gleefully making it a party, well, that angered people enough to send them to our Facebook page.
You people are sick. This is disgusting. Reject the wackos. Vote yes.
But we didn't stop there. We created videos.
Imagine this times 200,000. How cool is that?
Posted on Twitter.
The Troy Library might be short on money, but it has books to burn.
Created items for sale.
A book bag. How ironic.
We placed newspaper ads, created check-ins, posted flyers, and lined up entertainment.
You guys are booking a band?
People became enraged.
Why would you burn books, idiots?
This is horrible.
Cheap imbeciles.
What the is this world coming to?
We should burn your signs instead.
Complete and total
This is
idiots.
really just pathetic.
Jerks.
They posted their own links, shared with friends, debated the merits of libraries and the audacity of burning books. The conversation spread from Facebook to city council meetings, from newspapers to TV. It grew from local to national, even international news. Once it reached a fevered pitch, we revealed the true intent of our campaign. A vote against the library is like a vote to burn books. And people started posting, tweeting, and reporting all over again. In the end, we had changed the conversation completely, from taxes, 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 to library, library, library. And on August 2nd, the yes voters, voters who don't normally turn out to vote, turned out at levels 342% greater than projected. And the library won by a landslide. The town's library, its beautiful, award-winning library, had been saved. Not every story at the library has a happy ending. Fortunately, this one did.
Isn't that a nice victory? The library won, and it's still there today. And this is because these folks believed that every barrier can be penetrated. Again, these are everyday folks. These are the librarians, right, that came up with this campaign to save their beloved library. So I'd like to sum up the mindset, my first core mindset of innovation, with an ancient Chinese proverb, which simply says, man who says it cannot be done should not interrupt man doing it. Every barrier can be penetrated.
I want to leave everyone with actually 4 things to follow up what Sara just showed us. And I'm going to make it as granular as possible. When you think about innovation in a law firm, I want to remind us of 4 macro trends that you can't neglect. And these are things that you can apply the mindset that Sara just presented us with to a more granular piece of the firm. So I always am researching trends. So there's 4 things that come to mind that I want everyone to write down. Number 1, Zoom. Zoom's revenues doubled last year. Consumer habits have changed. Okay, you can neglect that for your practice. You could just consume content on stuff like this, but that's not going to grow your firm as much as you using it in your firm and innovating with Zoom, which leads to my second point, We have interviewed some of the best law firm owners, including Mike Morse, in the United States. However, nobody has gone all in on this second mega trend, which ties into Zoom: virtual client experience processes. Okay. Nobody's done this yet that I'm aware of, that went into their client experience process and said, okay, the world is now virtual. We're not going to expect people to come to the office and be, handed water bottles. We're not going to expect them to come to this office. We're going to immediately innovate and create a virtual client experience process. Think, how would someone in the virtual world want to be treated as a client of my law firm? Okay. That's the second trend that leverages data of Zoom usage. The third trend is e-learning. E-learning skyrocketed through the pandemic. People purchasing online educational courses. So for some practice areas, you need to figure out what slices of legal service that you provide that you could maybe put into a course of sorts to perhaps educate the DIY crowd or build trust with those who are on the fence about choosing your law firm. And all it requires is you to just film yourself going through things that you're an expert in, but your clients aren't, right? And then the fourth one, which I think is magical, is not just e-learning, but e-commerce. E-commerce. These are 4 potential disruptors or 4 potential huge innovative opportunities for a law firm to take what Sarah's saying and align it with actual trends to become differentiated in your market. So e-commerce, think about this. How could you make an intake call not needed? Think about this. How could you take someone from building trust with you through the internet and not even need an intake call because you do it through e-commerce? These are innovative things that, if you apply the level of thinking that Sarah is showing us, can really differentiate you in the market. And hey, most of them, except for e-commerce, cost nothing.